Hello, my name's Jordan Windsor, and this is my final year project, an emotion detection game to manage stress. So, can video games be primarily made to target and manage stress? So, the hypothesis upon starting this project was, to basically prove that question right and say yes, that you specifically can customize a game with its settings or its components, and the output can be reducing stress levels. The way I was going to measure this is to use cognitive services. So this is a Microsoft feature, and then use a facial recognition API that has emotion detection embedded. So it will just pick up a person's face from a video or picture capturing device, so webcam, mobile phones, anything would work in that sense. It collects and then displays emotional data from that about what it can read. So then using the API, I was going to then break down a video game to its core components, so the separate elements, and specifically for this puzzle video game, it was the color theme, the music, and the ball speed, which would make sense in the demonstration later on. So the aims and objectives. The aims was obviously to successfully prove the hypothesis correct. You want that in a project. You want to be able to take a guess at the start, an educated guess, and be successful in that area. So the aim obviously was measured by the different settings, which obviously you will see as well. So this is different backgrounds, or background colors, different speeds and themes of music, and obviously different ball speeds, and this was giving the corresponding results that was taken by the API. So with the successfully proven hypothesis, after testing, the only aim after that is pretty much to just give people another way of managing emotions. So this will be further explained as I go on, but then why this project? So the idea derived from a previous idea. Back in 2019, during another module, I had a similar idea of creating some sort of application to help a person manage mental health. But obviously, ethical concerns with that is I'm a student. I don't have a degree or any ground to diagnose and say this is how you solve this. So I decided to shift it to like a sub reaction. Stress seems to obviously it can be a leading cause, but it's not necessarily linked to just mental health, and it can be something that everybody will or may experience. Another one was personal. So from the experience of people that I consider close friends and close people to me, the curiosity did spark this one for the mental health, and then leading on to stress. So it's just another way to aid people, as I mentioned. I just want to give another way. So that further led into the exploration into a wider aspect, so the digital world, because upon research especially, methods, or physical methods I should say, of managing stress physical tends to be the main focus. There isn't much digital apart from obviously contacting people for help, but in terms of digital, this could be classed as entertainment. That wasn't an area that was that I could find much on. And then last, not really a weighted one, but the pandemic. So over the last year, people have obviously found times that they've been restricted to home and kind of out of options. So in troubling times, this could be another method that from home, from accessible anywhere really. This method could be used for people that feel like they have nowhere to go, that feel trapped, and it could be this sort of escape, while still helping them manage their emotions. So what next? After this project becomes more than just a university module, I would have liked to seen a fully fledged game. So I only broke it down into a few different components, but I would like to dive deeper into the roots and the core components of video games, and see how I could further enhance this idea of being able to measure stress and manage it upon testing really. And then recognition of a serious and helpful method. By this I mean that it can be viewed as, I'm playing video games to reduce stress. It doesn't seem quite natural now. It doesn't seem like it rolls off the tongue in terms of an actual way for people to manage their stress, and an application or a game in the sense that directly targets this. It just make it more than a project or an idea that's been come up with. And then obviously collaboration or integration. Now this kind of links with the first point, but with organisations that do offer their help to people in need that do struggle with their emotions, it would be nice to have this connection with them and see where it can go. So the product and how does it work? Using Unity, which is the engine, and Vuforia, which was the means of capturing images, from a live video, it was capturing images. It formed this application, so obviously you can alter the sound and the music, some sound and music the same, the background colour, the music, the ball speed. This is pretty much just the customization, and this was what was used in the testing phases to give those different conditions that were mentioned previously. So upon playing this, you'll click play, and I will shift over into the scene view to show that it's taken a snapshot image of me currently in front of the screen, and then this is a web request is sent to the API which I mentioned, and it processes the emotion data that it can read from my face. This emotion data is also sent back into a text file, so it is retrievable and it can be evaluated essentially after that. So it takes a little while for a web request, but it's the general means of it. So the product and what does it contain. So this is pretty much a run through of the levels. So it will include level 1, 2 and 3 level descriptions, and this will obviously be the process of the emotion data. So this element is pretty important, I thought, because capturing a person's face right after they've completed a level, so just taking one at the start and the end and taking it during, taking that data right as they've completed a level seemed the most fresh and the most accurate to work from, simply because it doesn't let them have sort of downtime. Obviously nothing's on screen for them to realise necessarily, so they're not aware that a snapshot's been taken. So while it's underlying, it's the best possible means of getting that fresh emotion, that expression that is the most accurate for what they feel. So this is just a quick playthrough of the level. It can be relatively easy based on pure luck essentially, but these factors of customizing elements is the main focus of essentially the project. So we've got level 2, and this is more of a breakout styled game. You use your platform to bounce a ball and hit the given target, which is just a square on the top layer, and just hit this target a couple of times, or 7 times. Hit this target and then progress. I should mention that obviously in general, from the start to the end, it does take a timer, just as like it does depend, especially if you're playing on a slower ball speed, for example. You could find that you take longer and it's not a stressful factor, and then somebody could complete the game in the same amount of time on the fast ball speed, but it was an important factor to consider, just in case any irregularities or correlations with the data actually popped up. So then this will lead on to the third level, and it's somewhat similar to the second. You have a catcher, and this catcher is essentially, you move this again and you capture the balls for a certain outcome. The initial idea for this was to have the balls minus from your value, but upon internal and one external test, it did find that it was making it way too hard, and some people couldn't progress or to complete the game from this. So it was rather unfortunate, and not a feature that was decided to be added, as I felt it might have not given the best data even for any settings that were given to people really. So then they go on to this, and they start capturing the balls, different values. So obviously when you can't catch the ball, you lose the value. But one issue I was having was if players didn't catch it directly and it was still taking certain values off, it just made the experience quite hard to deal with, basically. But then this one will lead you on to this screen. It jumped to there, but this one takes another data set. So the product and how it's measured. So this is pretty much this is the JSON file, the text file that I mentioned, and this displays the data. So as I'm going through this, you have your different emotions, so anger, content, and it goes through and gives you this integer value, float value, about what it can read from your face and what it picks up essentially. And this is how I measured my project. So that is it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed listening to me explain my project.